Can we have a hand for teachers? I love teachers, man. That's like the toughest job ever. Putting this together got me in front of like close to 1,000 students. 1,000 students. So teachers let me interrupt their classes and talk about TED, talk about what we were trying to do, what we were trying to put together. In some schools, I would ask, how many of you guys have ever seen a TED Talk? 100% of the people would raise up their hand. I would ask in some other schools, how many of you guys have seen a TED Talk? No one raised their hand, including the teachers. And I understand the importance of this, and it's simply just to inspire. I couldn't do it, I couldn't concentrate, so I became a writer out of spite. I was like, joke's on you, I'm a writer, math teacher. I met a great math teacher. Maybe 2-3 years ago, who is not only inspiring people by being a great teacher, but finding other ways to reach his students. And it's a very big privilege for me to introduce this person to you guys. And I want you guys are going to be blown away. I'm gonna say this right now. Everyone in here, I guarantee it, you guys are going to get blown away. So ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Rhitz.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Houston. How's everybody doing? All right. Today I'm going to be talking to you about superhero rap. To put this into context, what do superheroes do? What's their job? Shout it out as loud as you can. Yes, that is the answer, right? In the past 4 years that I've been working with students, teaching them how to rap, when I put the question to them, what do superheroes do? Their answer is always they save people. Right? They can do incredible, incredible things. Shoot laser beams out of their eyes. They can fly up in the air, breathe underwater. They can control the weather. When they get really angry and pissed off, they become giant green monsters and knock down buildings. But at the end of the day, the job of a superhero is to beat up the bad guy, bring justice, and stick up for the little man. So, to that end, by day, I am a 7th grade mathematics teacher at Yes Prep Public Schools. Yes Prep has been graduating 100% of students from high school and sending 100% of students to college from low-income and high-poverty areas in Houston. Yes. But by night, I'm a rapper and visual artist for the hip-hop psychology performing arts movement. So this is me. This is the rest of my crew. The movement is seeking to figure out how do we take hip-hop and how do we put it into educational and psychological counseling settings. It started in 2008, founded by Debangshu Chowdhury and Lauren Gardner. They're currently doctoral students at the City University of New York Graduate Center. What hip-hop psychology is studying is how do youth engage in hip-hop? How does it help them with their identity development, their community development, their critical consciousness, as well as their sense of self as agents of change in the world? It comes from this idea of experience, emotion, expression. We have experiences in our lives. And as a result of those experiences, we have emotional responses. Sometimes they're really joyful, sometimes they're painful. Sometimes they're bittersweet, and all of the emotions in between. And we're seeing that when students are given the opportunity to express themselves in the hip-hop arts, which has a culture of keeping it real, being authentic, speaking truth to power, they're able to take ownership over those emotions and experiences, be able to process through them, and for their own healing and for their own growth. And this is how I came into hip-hop. I grew up 5 minutes from the beach, nowhere close to the streets, but the streets have been in my soul for a long time. When I was in 6th and 7th grade, back in 96 and 97, my family lost 3 really close family members to us. And in the course of 365 days, I've been to 3 funerals. I had no one, not even my best friend since preschool, could really understand or empathize with what I was going through. And that's the same time when you start to get into a lot of different music when you're younger, and I started listening to a lot of hip-hop, and that's when I heard Bone Thugs' Crossroads, right? Gonna miss everybody, right? And it was on the heels of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. being murdered. So all those tribute songs were coming out. And I heard the sadness that I was feeling. I heard the loneliness that I was feeling. I heard the frustration. I heard the disappointment, the anger, right? All in these lyrics. But I also heard that there was hope, that they were overcoming by putting their pen to paper and putting out their emotions and their feelings and being able to express themselves through rap. These artists who were best friends with their families or best friends with Tupac and Biggie were able to overcome. And it wasn't just that they were dealing with loss of loved ones, right? Through listening to hip-hop music, I discovered that they were dealing with an education system that had not given them the resources to break the cycle of poverty, right? They were dealing with the fear of gang violence every single day. They're dealing with the destruction of their community by drugs and alcohol abuse. They had to deal with racial discrimination from police brutality, all of these things, even hunger to this point, right? There's a line by Black Thought where it says, when the refrigerator's naked and the cupboard is bare, then you have to strip naked and put them up in the air. All of these things they were dealing with. And I kept thinking to myself, like, how are my hip hop heroes, like, how are they alive, right? Like, how are they dealing with this? How can they get up every day and rap and go about their lives? And what I realized, it was because they were writing superhero rap, right? They were not letting their surroundings define them, but by writing their identity and their future into words and then spitting it on the mic and then sharing that future with a crowd, they were able to overcome. So fast forward 12 years later, in 2009, I moved to Houston, Texas, and I started teaching Yes Prep Gulfton. If you are from Yes Prep Gulfton, please make some noise. It's my family right there. And I started teaching sixth graders, and it only made sense for me to be like, all right, I gotta get these kids to learn how to rap. Gulfton is a community exactly like where a lot of my hip hop heroes came from. And so I figured, all right, maybe there's some kids that this could help. So 4 people joined the team, 4 boys: Kobe Perkins, Cedric Grisby, Freddie Lopez, Daniel Vongo. 2 of whom were repeating 6th grade. One of them was a refugee from Sudan, and the other one had a twin brother with the same name. So there was a lot of identity development issues going on there. For 2 years, we studied superhero rap. We looked at all of these artists that embody the superhero rap ideal. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, The Roots, Eminem, Tupac, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J, Nas, Lauryn Hill, Common, Outkast, Run DMC, and many, many more. We listened to their songs and wrote to the same themes of overcoming adversity, grieving a loved one, taking pride in your heritage and your community, but then also critiquing your heritage and your community and saying, here are where we see faults and where we need to build on strengths. We learned about the mechanics of rapping to a 4/4 time, learned all the poetic devices like metaphor, simile, alliteration. We also talked about the importance of using the right words, right? We wanted to convey those emotions we were feeling from our experiences, and so students really focused on, how do I say the right word at the right time so that someone hearing me rap it gets that same feeling? And then how do I spit it with the same conviction so that what I'm feeling as I'm like rapping my words, the audience feels the same? After 2 years in 6th and 7th grade of working with these students, those 4 boys approached me and they said, yo, mister, we got to do a concert at school. We got to do a concert at school. We're trying to rap it in front of these morning meetings. We're trying to rap it at the end of class. We want a concert. And I was like, oh, that's like a really good idea. Like, why didn't I think of that? You know? So I was like, all right, y'all are smart. And then they were like, and mister, like, there's, like, we have an XY chromosome. There's no XX chromosomes here, right? There's no ladies on the team. And so they said, we need to recruit some girls. And I was like, that's also a really good idea, right? Because like 2 slides back, like the only 2 female rappers we have right now are Queen Latifah and Lauryn Hill that like really, really match the same lyrical skill as a lot of the other artists that are celebrated in hip hop. And so we recruited a girl on the team. She was probably the quietest girl in the entire world at the time. And she put in 2 years of work in 1 year, stayed after school 3 or 4 times a week to really perfect her craft, and became one of the greatest rappers I've ever heard. Now, when all those students moved up to 9th grade, 3 of them ended up moving to different campuses to start their high school career, which meant that we had to bring on 5 new members to the team. So we ended up bringing on 3 additional girls and 2 other boys. And what we were able to do is repeat the same success we had by putting on that concert, right? It was a rebuilding year. It was kind of like when the Bulls lost, like Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, right? Like you're like, are they ever going to win an NBA final again? And like, we won the NBA final. And this is how we won the NBA finals again. To date, from January 2013 to today, we performed at events for neighborhood centers, Yes Prep Public Schools, Teach for America, and Vox Culture. Total audience impact in Houston, 2,700 plus people. And I have a surprise for you. After today, it's going to be 3,000. You'll see why later. But our impact isn't just in Houston. Our impact is actually reaching the world of academia. We're partnering with Hip Hop Psychology. We're working with the City University of New York Graduate Center to do a longitudinal study on hip-hop narrative and psychological well-being. What this means is that all of these students' lyrics are being sent to CUNY Grad Center along with their meeting videos, their rehearsal videos, and their performance videos to be analyzed. They also, every 4 months, write a letter to the president advocating for hip-hop to be taught in schools. This is a measure of their literacy skills and their rhetorical skills on the path to college readiness. And finally, they take a RIF psychological well-being scale to measure their psychological well-being. Self-explanatory. these are the preliminary results that I had to put on a poster for DeBankshu and Lauren when they presented. There's a lot of fancy asterisks and ones and decimal numbers. I'll explain what this means in words. We see three things happening with these students. One, they see themselves as a me-we relationship. They very much identify themselves as individuals and have confidence in themselves as individuals and their self-esteem through their raps. They also see that they're a part of a larger society. They're part of their school community, they're part of their families, neighborhood communities, and even part of the hip-hop culture as a whole. So what it's showing them is that they understand that their actions as an individual have an impact on their entire community and on a larger scale in society. What they're also seeing is that they're taking wild, abstract vocabulary risks when they write their raps. It's awesome. They're using ACT words, SAT words, a lot of college-ready words, and they're throwing them into their lyrics. And what we're seeing is that there's a correlation with an increase of those words when they're writing the letters to the president. So like a lot of these ones represent that every time they argue for hip-hop to be taught in schools, they are using words that are of a higher order level of thinking with vocabulary that are aligning to the path of college readiness that they see on their campus, but also is what they want to see with their work in hip-hop, to see themselves not just as artists, but as scholars. Finally, they see the worlds of hip-hop and education as two spheres that completely eclipse, right? Before, like, you can listen to a lot of Nas rhymes where he'll talk about how, like, ooh, trying to remember. Never mind, can't remember off the top of my head. He talks a lot about the times, like, textbooks in the schools, talks about teachers in the schools would oftentimes ridicule him, be prejudiced towards him, and discriminate him. And what students are seeing is that because of the hip-hop that's happening at our campus, the goals of education, like with schools like Yes Prep Public Schools and KIPP schools, are working to bring justice to underserved areas, right? And they're seeing that hip-hop, which is a culture that brought beauty and truth out of nothing, right? Out of an oppressed society and oppressed peoples, are bringing truth and beauty and speaking that truth to power. And they're seeing that when hip-hop and education join hands, right, we can truly redefine what's possible. And so that truth is what we're going to be bringing in the future. April 12, 2014, we're going to be hosting the second annual Truth for the Youth event at Yes Prep Gulfton. And what we're going to be doing is bringing in students, we're going to be bringing in artists, activists, administrators, educators, scholars from all across the city to come together and have this conversation of how do we put hip-hop curriculum, robust hip-hop curriculum, into schools, right? Where instead of having to learn how to do orchestra, theater, band, you could learn how to rap, do graffiti, hip-hop dance, breaking, DJing, beat making, right? Live instrumentation. And how do we take not just that art form, but figure out how do we do research with that art form for when students are engaging in the hip-hop arts and they're taking that to their communities and speaking their truth out, what impact is that going to be having? I just said a lot of words, and I'm going to let some people speak for themselves, right? So my words are not as important as the words of the Force. So to close this talk out, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Yes Prep Gulfton's varsity rap crew, the Force. Please make some noise. Get around. While we're setting up, I'll do little intros. Lisette Vasquez, Brian Vasquez, Draco Salgado, Justice Hoyle, Frendy Lopez, Daniel Vargas, Jennifer Lugo, Kobe Perkins, and Double DV, Daniel Vango. And we got Coach Paxton and El Anamorado on the beats. Y'all good? So excited. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, go. We got the strength,
we got the power, we got the strength, we got the power. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder. We got the strength, we got the power, we got the strength, we got the power. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder.
Yo, if hip hop just talk music,
Now we still great debaters,
think I'm again. Proclamation emancipated, I freestyle a team of rivals. Drop common denominator, don't wait in the blue and gray.
we got the strength to save this.
Mysteries, misdiagnosis, misfits, and mutants. It's a superhero rap, undisputed truth of Houston.
Don't look at me weird, I'm not with the nerds. I use the mic to show my feelings with words. People say I'm no one, I'm wasting my time, guess what?
Now you just part of my rhyme.
I try really hard to not break down. I promise myself that they will see me frown.
Yo, Beating the beat up on my vein, picked up and up and go insane. Choke the mic till it burst on flames, so never to be recognized with a name. Slickety fame, think it's a game, sit in the corner and check one vein. But when I'm on stage, I develop, I change my ego, takes over, he never the link. Hitting on beat, punching line, freedom of feet, defender was mine. Show up and write down my thoughts and send it mine.
Y'all can keep walking, I'ma keep mocking. Bigger than the bigger and under the breath talking. Pin as the blade, screaming on the page I'm owning. But y'all feel the rage when I'm on stage, I own this. Smite my enemies with a sword like Conan. But I have my past, for I am the last Ronin.
Like Houdini, y'all magical fraction. I'm irrational, I'm gonna teach the lesson. So teachers take a sabbatical like Malcolm, I'm a radical. The force is so fantastical, killing the game. This is a music mass murder. Duck high, run, these lyrics is my gun. Bullets are high, no power, better than Mariah Carey's song.
Let me explain it, but they can still explain it. Polishing my lyrics, the mic I'ma repaint it. Remade this, hip-hop just made me. The mic I'ma murder, I ain't trying to fake me. I'm a dope rapper with different kinds of flavor. Tell me your taste now so I can do you a favor.
Trouble like that, it's hard to keep my head up. But come for a travel, I'd rather put in a cup. All the name things, put it down the drain. God give me strength to bring the change. Mom always say, don't do things to get fame. Don't care about popular, just care about my name.
My soul is my flow, forever it'll glow. Life is a mystery, but never a mystery. The need of love is a feeling of hope. Now hear my rhymes, cause I know they dope. Listen to God's words, to feel remorse. Time to feel the force, open up like a rose.
I don't spit blasphemy, devil after me, what a tragedy. Know the one connected to the sea like Adony. Sometimes I feel trapped in a box like a cubicle. Other times the blood rush way down to my cuticles. It's the joy I feel every time I read the biblical words. That's all you need when you face to face with Lucifer.
Yeah. I blend in with the wind as if I'm a part of nature. I elevate with stairs, no elevators nor escalators. With pen knuckles and paper to vapor, then later watch it condense it. When it drops, it leaves a crater with action verbs that are major. To defeat, you'll need a yes lightsaber, a force that's greater than Darth Vader. You could think Yoda later.
We got strength, we got the power.
We got the strength.
Go ahead and get louder.
We got the strength.
Go ahead and get louder.
We got the strength. We got the power. We got the strength. We got the power. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder. If you feel the force, go ahead and get louder.
Give it up one more time, please. Very quickly, I want to commend you for all the work that you're doing with these kids, man. It's awesome, and I also want to see if you want to go with me to my mom's house and tell her that I haven't been wasting my life with hip hop. That'd be great. It's like, Mom, I brought a teacher. You know, he's actually doing hip hop in school, so you can do that for me. And thank you guys. Kevin Rhitz, everybody.